Simon!
Daz, how you going, mate? I'm back from from the shop, just getting all the toilet paper I possibly can because we are in the shitter again here in Victoria.
I'm just glad our signal can cross the waves, across the border.
Yeah, got stopped at the border though. It was just,
Mate.
All right. I was just like I was saying before. I'm actually a little bit lost. Like, it seems like I've just come to terms with being in lockdown for the first time and was like ready to get back out of it, and then straight back into it. So feeling a little bit.
So for those that don't know, for all those Victorians that haven't been awake since Saturday, you guys are in lockdown again. This is fucking insanity.
Yeah.
And it's insanity. Like, obviously, nobody wants people to die. Nobody wants that. A very trusted source read a news article this morning saying that there's been 1 million COVID tests in Victoria and there's been 800 deaths. Now, I might go out on a limb here and say it, and people say I'm a heartless, cold bastard. But nobody wants deaths, but we cannot lock society down for such a small percentage. Like, that doesn't make sense. And if in politics, majority rules, in every other part of life, the majority rules, once society starts getting dictated by the minority, then we're in problems, which is what we got. Like, so, bring in the hate mail. Actually, direct it to simon@princess.com.au.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. I need something to do for the next 6 weeks anyway.
Well, you need some mail.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But I can see where the government's coming from. It's very hard with the stance that the Andrews government took with the initial lockdown with the stricters, and it's you kind of have to fall on your sword now when the cases are increasing. We know we're setting records and breaking records every day. Yeah. Sort of when it comes to testing and positive tests, and I mean 6 weeks. It's pretty crappy, but it is only 6 weeks. The issue is probably for our industry. I don't see it happening that we go back after the 6 weeks. We were the last thing to open up when the lockdown finished up first time. I think there'll be a bit of a lag time before that. So, going in, what is it, July now? Be August when the end of August when the 6 weeks is up, and then potentially not until September we'll be back in gyms, and that's a scary place to be for just the industry itself and for weightlifting in Victoria anyway.
But, very scary. But Simon, if you can just look at the screen for me, please.
Yeah.
Tell me, do you know where this guy trains? The Melbourne security guard fucks the entire city.
Well, he's not right. And no, I've had some inquiries about where this bloke trains, asking for a friend.
Hang on, Jackie was just recently in quarantine.
But we'll ask her if she knows anything. Jesus. Yeah. No, this absolute stud seems to be ground zero. Got himself a nickname for life there, but
Shaft Zero.
Shaft Zero. Yeah, this is just terrible though, isn't it? It's literally couldn't keep it in your pants.
It's unreal, mate. Like, mate, I just don't know. Like, what about how the language has changed from when this COVID first happened? The language is all about deaths, and we've got to flatten the curve. Well, we've flattened the curve. We have flattened the curve. It's officially no longer an epidemic because it's below the percentage per population. I was reading a statistic definition yesterday, and the media language has gone from deaths to cases, and they're trying to make it sound like cases are terrible. Again, cold-hearted bastard. But unless you're in the population that's at risk, it doesn't matter if you're a silent carrier. Maybe they can segregate and isolate the population that's at risk and not the rest of us, so we can carry on. And obviously, if you're in contact with people who are going through chemo or have type 2 diabetes, hyperinsulinemia, dementia, all these people that have these conditions, but also have that susceptible age range. Like, why can't we segregate and isolate them? Why is it the fit, healthy ones? And why shut down gyms? Like, the whole point of a gym and of a weightlifting club is to make people healthy and active.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, it's a point of was I seeing a meme today? It's like, do we shut down gyms to stop the stem of the COVID cases, or do we keep people healthy and sane? So, I think we're a bit tired. And I think the worst thing about it is I get this feeling, nothing to confirm this at all, but I just have this sneaking suspicion they're going to pin this outbreak on reopening gyms in Victoria. That it's just like, you got to play the blame game. You got that one guy that's fucking everyone in towers, but gyms are dirty places. Everyone's in close proximity. Thanks again, Daz. Make sure everyone gets that one. Yeah, but yeah, I feel like we're gonna cop it one way or another. If we're not already taking it, and I don't know what the situation's like in New South Wales. Just saying to you, just off air before that, so there's like 13 cases overnight or something like that.
And
probably
all bloody Victorians too, probably.
Yeah, look, well.
apparently there was 50,000 cars crossed the Victorian border into New South Wales before midnight. 50,000. That's insane.
Impressive. That's
like two people a car. That's a town.
Yeah,
that's a whole town has moved.
Like, it's ridiculous.
Man, it's nuts. It's absolutely crazy. And then let's get on to the bigger picture, right? Let's keep it. I mean, we are a weightlifting podcast, so of course we're going to talk about the last dance.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the big picture. And then I've said this before. I've gone on record that weightlifting to me is only a 2-year sport, because you only want to qualify for the Olympics, and once the Olympics is out of qualification realm, like, who gives a fuck? That's my personal opinion. Unless we produce prize money to keep people competing all year round on the 4-year cycle. Yeah, the Olympics, mate. How are we shaping, as in terms of Australia? How are we looking? And now I'm guessing Victoria is completely pooched in being able to provide a lifter for the Olympics.
I don't know how we function in any sport at the moment in Victoria.
Yeah.
I don't know how we can justify sending athletes to an Olympic Games, and I don't know how other nations are going to justify sending athletes to the Olympic Games. I mean, if we can, within the span of 2.5 weeks, shut down Victoria again, you've got higher rates in the US, in Brazil as well. I don't see the US sending a team to the Olympic Games with the way things are currently going. And I don't know. I can't justify it. Why did they cancel it in the first place? Has anything really changed since then? I'll be very surprised if the Olympic Games happens in a capacity that we're familiar with anyway. And then maybe they drop sports, like they look at it like how the US Open it cut away the adaptive tennis division. Do they call it adaptive or disabled tennis? I'm not sure, actually.
Adaptive is a great term. It's what CrossFit use. I give permission for all the sports to use the word adaptive. I think it's brilliant.
You're a good man.
Mate, I'm like that. I'm like that. Very, anyway, fucking moving on. And then there was the Aussie tennis player, the wheelchair tennis player guy, and he just fucking tore the US Open apart.
Yeah.
And then they reinstated the wheelchair division. Do you think the Olympics will do that and go, okay, let's cut some costs. Let's just get rid of Paralympics and let's get rid of these lesser interest / non-commercial sports?
I think that
for lack of a better term, for social distancing.
I would think so. I mean, I think the first step would be them saying there's going to be no crowds at the Olympic Games, so it's all behind closed doors, which is
what's the point?
Yeah, it's again, it's like you can tell people that they're going to the Olympic Games, but then they go, "What Olympic Games did you go to?" Yeah, I went to the 2021 Olympic Games in Tokyo, sort of.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, and, the crowds must have been great. Well, they would have been, I assume, but
Really massive.
yeah, it would have been massive. I've been told.
Yeah.
It's like you don't want to take. Yeah, I don't want to. You don't want to take that achievement away from anyone because it is the Olympic Games and you've worked your ass off to get there. Yeah. But what's the level of competition and what's the spectacle? Is it the spectacle that it's going? Well, it's been promised for years and years.
Yeah.
I'd hate to see the Olympic Games be diminished in any sort of capacity. And again, saying to you before, this is supposed to be the rebuild of sport after Rio when there was the drug scandals coming in from Russia. This is supposed to be the rebirth, make the Olympic Games great again. Yep. Everyone's going to have a good time. Tokyo is going to be this grand spectacle. COVID hits, rescheduled. Athletes don't know what's going on. Sports don't know what's going on. I think it's a tough time, and I'm probably going to put it out there that probably not going to happen.
Yeah, I agree, mate. For me, the Olympics has lost its shine anyway. Like coming from commercial sports, before that, I always fantasized about going 100 meters, making a final in the 100 meter sprint. Blah, blah. Yeah. Just for anybody out there for our 2 watchers on Facebook, boys, I recommend, boys and girls, I don't know who you are, but I recommend you watch from YouTube. It's a better quality picture. For everyone out there, just make a little comment in whatever social media you're watching us from. Tell me what you think was the first Olympics event ever. And I'm talking the original Olympics, not the French modern version. I happen to know this little piece of info. But mate, I think I know everything. I think I think the Olympics will not happen next year. It'll be tragic for the Japanese economy if they have to social distance, if you can't have spectators. Mate, Japan's already financially in a world of hurt. I mean, we all are, but Japan is pooched. Like, they've put so much money into this, and to postpone it is insane. So they'll be calling it off, guaranteed. Yeah. Like, they won't have the money to fulfill it. But then what happens? Like, I know for a fact, you and I, if we got offered a ticket to compete in the Olympic Games, in a lesser Olympic Games, you and I are on that boat. Like, we're going. Fucking oath, I'm Olympian.
All day long.
I'll get my ring tattoo on my forehead. It'll be like bum fights.
Yeah, you could. No, you couldn't stop me. I'll be there in a heartbeat. That's
yeah.
And I think that's gonna be the appeal, isn't it?
It's going to be nuts. And it just made me think about, remember when Russia got kicked out? Was it Russia or China? They got kicked out of a world champs or an Olympics. So what they did, they had their own national competition at the same time.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty big deal because this is for weightlifting. They had
I'm pretty sure this is Russia.
Russia, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And they put on their own show and had a fucking ball. Now, moving on to that segues beautifully into what I was thinking.
Yeah.
About the AWF. Has anybody heard from the AWF about what to do in these circumstances? In terms of, have we heard from them initially with the lockouts, and have we heard from them throughout the lockouts, and now have we heard from them again with these new Victorian lockouts?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to have to get in contact with someone. I haven't heard anything on the recent lockdown, but I remember, I think it was around March when they put out a statement regarding national championships during this whole period. And I think it was worded quite carefully. And I was a bit surprised at the rescheduling of the national championships recently, because I thought the writing said that they would reschedule the championships once all states were back in gyms without restrictions. And
that's never like that.
Yeah,
I can't see any restrictions being lifted at all until next year.
Yeah, and obviously Victoria was the last place to open up.
Yeah.
And when they did, they rescheduled the national championships for wherever it is in November or whenever they've set it. But
Yeah, right.
yeah, now I haven't heard anything. I assume it's just going to be Victoria kicked out of the national championships essentially. Because
Which is what we all want anyway.
Yeah, well, it was going to happen, isn't it?
Secretly. What about all these lifters from other states all around Australia? Like, yeah, fuck them, we don't need them.
Yeah.
Beat them anyway.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes these days. But I can't see them calling off the national championships, seeing as they've been so keen to get them back up and running. I think it'll just be a situation where Victoria can't compete, or selected athletes may be able to do something like AFL's doing with their hubs up north. Where we send people up for a period to train in certain areas, but who's going to fund that? I don't see
Mate, like AWF is struggling to fund like their medal winners, let alone just participants at state level. Like that's not going to happen.
Yeah,
I'm glad you brought up the AFL. It brings up again. I know it's a non-sport, but it brings up the point too. It brings it up again. Like if you don't have a big lobby behind you, you're pooched. Like, so what about the AFL getting a tip-off before they announced the border, the hard border? Like, it's bullshit. Like you need political power and you need bums on seats to drive potential votes. Yeah. So you get a seat at the table about sneaky information. Like if you're a sport that's got no commercial viability, you're fucked. Like, like waiting for taxpayers' handouts so you can go and compete somewhere. It's just fucking stupid. That's fucking dumb. Anyway.
How does anyone come back from that now, though? What's the commercial appeal of any sport or any smaller sport at the moment?
Yeah, that's it. Well, then you've got your own. I don't want to fucking put my foot in it, but I will. But you've got. How about this? So this might trigger a sore muscle in your body. But musos bitching about venues being closed. They can't earn $1.
Yeah,
I've got news for you, musos, you motherfuckers. You can produce and release albums online for fucking next to nothing. You'll make more money and you can sell it yourself. Shut the fuck up. Like, if you're an artist, you perform. Like, you can find your crowd. You can do paid per view content. You can do download content. You can do streaming content. If you're a performer, you can sell your product online. Weightlifters, you can do the same fucking thing. We can have virtual competitions. You can be in your own garages. Hopefully, you've got your own gear. Fucking blah blah. You can make it happen.
Just not in Victoria.
Just not in Victoria. But there's ways about it. I've noticed, and don't get me wrong, I have felt this way for the majority of my life up until recently. Is that I felt entitled, thinking that once I get to a certain level of performance, things come to me. I don't have to ask for them. And that's never the case. It's never, ever, ever, ever the case. Nothing comes to you unless you're Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
And that person is Nike.
Yeah.
Outside of that, you've got to hustle to get whatever you want. So if weightlifting wants more crowds, more participation, more money, go fucking get it. Don't wait for it. Don't wait for government handouts. Don't wait for a government edict from the IAS. Fuck the IAS. Do it yourself, which is pretty much what Phil Andrews has done in the USA. He's put together business models and made decisions on his own back to go and grow the sport, and it's fucking working. And he's doing it all online. So could we have nationals in a virtual space? Could we have Victorians huddled in to, say, Hawthorn Weightlifting Club competing at the same time as the rest of Australia at their locations, say in Sydney?
Look, I don't know at the same time.
Yeah.
But there's definitely a format we could use to have a virtual competition.
Yeah.
An online system. And, places have been doing it for years. Well, we even do it smaller versions years ago here in Victoria for school competitions. It was just a postal event. It's like, yeah, at your school, you set up your event, you do your snatches, you do your clean and jerks, they're recorded, they're sent in, results are collated, and then you have your winners. And I think that was the plan from the AWF anyway. Should lockdown be extended through this whole period anyway, to have some sort of national championships. I know that I'm not sold on the idea of having a national championships this year. Or any competitions really, like any larger competitions. As I've said before on the show, that we should just be focusing attentions on clubs and rebuilding and trying to get participation back up, and that doesn't necessarily mean in competitions. Just means growing our clubs again, so that we have something to move forward to. There's only going to be a select handful of athletes that are ready, primed to go to the championship and actually perform. I think again it comes down to, are we souring sort of the spectacle that is the national championships, or what it should be, just for the sake of having it. And I think it's a disservice to the athletes as well that are going, that they don't get the opportunity to compete against the best or people at their best. So there's a lot of things to look at there. But it's back to the main point about the Olympic Games. It's what we're going through now, just on a larger scale. It's everyone versus the world at the Olympic level. It's us here in Victoria against the state. So it's a tough time.
So focusing on building clubs, it's very it's coming out where weightlifting is now struggling the same way that rugby is struggling, where there's this invented second tier that's dropping or that's diminishing the impact of clubs to produce weightlifters. So what do you think? I know we touched this subject in previous episodes, but what do you think should be the number one move by clubs right now with the lockouts in servicing their members and maybe even getting some more now?
It's touching base. Communication is going to be key through any sort of lockdown periods. It's just making sure you know where your members are at and knowing where you stand as a club. So today I'll be putting out a statement to our members about the future of the club as it is, given the new lockdown in Victoria, thanks to this bloke.
Is that the statement? Is the Victorian man?
Yeah.
He'll be in it.
Security guard fucks entire city and Hawthorn weightlifting club. And that's where we'll be going. And then I'll touch base with my athletes personally, see where they're at. Yep. A lot of them doing it tough prior to this lockdown, just didn't have their hands on equipment. Yeah. Few of them relying on training at people's places when the restrictions eased, and some of them have their own setups, but it's not the same as the sort of service they were getting at the club, and that looks like it's a minimum of 6 weeks away. So looking after your members, or at least finding out where they're at, is probably the number one thing to be doing in this time. I guess in every other state, I'd just be praying that you don't go into lockdown. I don't think that most places will, but this East Coast, awfully competitive at the political level. So it's who can protect people the best.
Yeah, it's turned into like the PC battle about cases. Like, again, I don't care about cases. I only care about deaths. And out of the people who are dying, what age are they and what are they dying from? Yeah. So locking away healthy people makes no sense. Knocking away people that contribute to the economy makes no sense. There's got to be some greater thinking about this, because there's so much attention placed on cases that has become political instead of the deaths. The deaths should be political, and there should be tangible protocols to protect those people from dying. But locking away a group of 20 to 30-year-old weightlifters out of their gym is not going to stop deaths. It's not going to stop cases, because they're not the ones dying anyway. It makes no sense. It's just dumb as dog shit.
Yeah, I don't see a solution given the stances that people have taken over this whole thing. Yeah, I don't know. Have you got any advice? Jesus, even for me at this point, from business point of view, what to do over these next.
I remember the line from the movie Flying High, It's called in America. He goes, I picked a hell of a week. Quit sniffing glue.
That's where I'm at.
Mate, I think you're spot on. Like, for anybody out there listening and who are watching at the moment and are going to listen later on, if your club hasn't contacted you to ask what they can do for you, then think about changing clubs. I know everybody's busy and got a 9-to-5 job usually and extra hours working 2 jobs, whatever. But the whole point of a club is that they're a community and you're there to help each other. You're there to help each other train. If you're in a club where you wouldn't, like, if you had a flat tire, would you ring someone from your club to come and help you? If the answer is no, then you're in the wrong club. Like, I don't know how many times people have rung me asking me for help or advice or whatever, and I want them to, because that's what we're about. We're a community. So if you're in a position where you feel embarrassed to talk to somebody, call someone, ask for advice, ask for help, you're in the wrong community. Go find a new one. And that's totally okay. That's totally okay. It's got nothing to do with performance or anything. But if you don't feel appreciated or you feel embarrassed to be there, then go find somewhere where you're comfortable.
Yeah.
But I think you're spot on. Reaching out to your clients and your lifters is fucking spot on, mate. And then there's some genius people out there. You might come up with solutions for this problem from somebody that you would not have thought has a solution. Yeah. Like, in my mind, it's like, right, gang, I've got a shit ton of lifting gear in my garage. And I just happen to be home from the hours of 5 to 8. And if you're walking the dog past the house, why don't you drop in and say hello?
Yeah.
And then bring your training kit.
Yeah.
Like, wear your training kit. Like,
yeah.
And then there's the other side of it. It's like, I don't know the legalities, but if you're not charging for somebody to be in your garage, is that still allowed? Like, what's the go there?
This is the thing that's driving me insane at this point in time. So we're back to these stage 3 lockouts.
Yeah.
Lockdown, whatever the fuck we're calling them. We have similar rules, but some rules have changed. Right. But at the same time, they're saying that tolerance for the ambiguity in the rules by the police is almost non-existent. So it's unless you have a stellar reason for being out, you're going to be turned away, potentially fined. That's a $1,600 fine. That is ridiculous for anyone to be sort of paying. So it's like, I'm sure there are. Just the old $50. It should be right.
Yeah.
But
it's one PT session from Simon's Health Performance Beauty.
Yeah. Is that what we're calling it these days? Anyway, it's going to be hard pressed. Like, I'm sure there are loopholes in this whole thing where you can get to people's houses. Like, there's something about if you're providing a service, you can travel to people's houses, but they can't come to you. It's something like that. It's an expensive experiment to find out if you're in the wrong. And then again, it's whether you agree with the lockdown or not, you sort of want to be following the rules so we just don't find ourselves in this situation again, because it doesn't seem like they're going to take the death rate into account. It's all going to be done with the statistics on positive tests. So if that number doesn't flatten out, then we're staying in lockdown.
No, I completely agree, mate. Like, I'm certainly not advocating breaking the rules or breaking the law. I'm just frustrated that they're using the wrong metric to cause lockouts. And I certainly, I have got fined. Pip and I got fined going for a drive to look for nappies, of all things. And,
you sick? You sick bastard!
Yeah. Oh, not for me, not adult diapers.
Sorry. My mistake. I forget you've got a kid. That's...
Oops. Yeah. And we got fined, but it was because my car was out of rego by a couple of days. So he was looking for something to fine me for. Because when I said the reason, he was like, "Oh, okay." And the baby was in the back of the car. Blah blah. So I got fined. I got a pretty nasty fine, but for no rego. But the guy wanted to book me for being out of the postcode. Yeah. But mate, follow the rules by all means. But fuck me dead. What about long term? Like, if you've got, in terms of business model, I think in terms of office space, white collar workers, if they are still paying commercial rent for a high rise in the CBD of any city, they're fucking idiots, because this proves that you don't need to be paying that. Certainly need to be paying like a meeting or a hot desk solution where you could probably have your employees check in once or twice a week and have a boardroom that you can hire out for meetings, but you don't need to be there Monday to Friday. That proves that. Does this also prove that you don't need to have a full-time gym, and that if you've got adequate equipment in your garage, that you could just check in with your coach 2 or 3 times a week instead for technique?
I think it's definitely there.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot harder at the lower end during like development phases for athletes, where you want to be able to lock in set times, you want to be able to have that sort of level of interaction, even in a group sort of scenario.
Yeah.
But if I'm training top guys, top girls, high level athletes, any way you want to cut it, I think it's definitely an option. Definitely an option. And I think there are plenty of places around the whole country that are doing it. Some of our best lifters are coming out of garages, and that's this is just the proof.
Yeah, but why not? Like, if like weightlifting is performed on a platform, that's 2 movements, so it's like, okay, I got that. So then to bolster my physique for the sport, I just need a couple of other pieces of equipment to get myself strong, and then bam, I'm good to go. Really, the most important thing is the coach. And the first thing is to realize that as any sport, there's techniques and there's abilities.
Yeah.
So you don't need a weightlifting coach to watch you back squat or to get stronger or to do pull-ups or accessories. You don't need a coach for that shit. But you need a coach to hone your technique. Yeah. So the worst case scenario, if you can get strong at home, but then get better under coach supervision, then there might be some models moving forward for clubs to offer that level of membership, maybe.
Yeah. 100%.
A part-time lifter or a satellite lifter or something.
Yeah. No, I agree. And there'll be a lot of coaches out there that have to pivot and, upskill a little bit themselves. That's me included. First episode back, I'm pretty sure we're talking about this.
Yeah.
This sort of method is not what I, signed up for when I got into this gig. And I think my athletes know that. But if this is going to be the new norm and this is the way the weightlifting looks moving forward, then I'm going to have to upskill in all kinds of methods and technology and best ways to suit it. It's definitely an option as the new norm.
With the new norm, right? What do you think would be jettisoned from the current format of a weightlifting club? Mm-hmm. What do you think? What service or routine or habit or what do you call them? Custom would be jettisoned under the new norm?
I don't even know. Yeah. I don't know, to be honest. What are your thoughts?
Oh mate, I don't know either. But it's like every disaster provides opportunity. Every crisis provides opportunity to get better, for sure. So, I mean, the AWF should have a fucking think tank together straight now. Like, I don't know why they don't. Maybe they do, and they don't think that we can think. Fair enough. Fair play.
Yeah, fair.
I always support having an opinion as not having an opinion. Yeah. But like there's some smart people out there that can generate some ideas for sure. Mm-hmm. And you've got to be tech savvy for one. I mean, back in the day, like 10 years ago, Dartfish was invented, like path, what do you call it? Path tracking in videos for video review and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I use a couple of apps for my weightlifter athletes as well to determine bar speed per seconds per meter and all this sort of stuff. And we've got a metric where if you can move a bar a certain so many meters per second, you're guaranteed to lift X amount of weight. It's just plain physics. So we just work on that, and it's 100%. It's fail safe.
Yeah.
So I think weightlifting coaches are going to have to be tech savvy to be able to produce like data on demand. I think the age of I just think this and I just think that, and watching 70-year-old dudes stumble around a fucking weightlifting club and do it this way because that's what we did in the 80s.
Yeah,
those times are fucking gone, absolutely gone. Like, move away, you dinosaur. I mean, Alonzo just re-signed with Renault Formula One team, so he's coming
That's-
back in 2021.
That has made me the happiest. Like,
Mate, which is amazing, right?
Ricardo and McLaren back to Renault. It's just funny. It's insane. Yeah, sorry.
So I'm a Fernando fan, right? Massive fan. I know all about his career from day dot. But everyone's online going, "Oh, this is a joke. Like they should have let a young driver come through," and they're sort of right.
Yeah,
Fernando Alonso. So if a weightlifting coach had that sort of impact, well, then he should stick around. But if our weightlifting coaches aren't known, fuck off. Like, see you later. Like, let's have the new guys come through, because the new guys identify with the new lifters. It's the same thing as an example. Me playing my last season playing rugby, amateur rugby. I was in the change rooms and there was a whole bunch of blokes listening to fucking Justin Bieber before the game. And I was fucking disgusted. I was like, what the fuck is this? We're about to run out on the pitch, built fuck out of each other for 80 minutes, and we're listening to this shit. And they're dancing and bopping around and fucking, and I'm like, okay, I'm too old. I'm not for this sport anymore. I'm done. Surely younger coaches can appeal, or have more rapport with younger lifters, because they're closer in generation. They know what they're doing. Unless it's a Fernando Alonso, like a young kart driver, 10-year-old can learn from Fernando Alonso because he's worshipping Fernando Alonso. He studies Fernando Alonso. So there's reciprocal respect there. Yeah. But where is it in weightlifting? So
I don't know. I'm
not bitching about anyone in particular.
Oh yeah, no, I get you.
I just think weightlifting. This is a chance for weightlifting to rebuild with some new faces, because the old faces can't even operate Skype or Zoom. They can't do software online. They can't coach online. It's not their era. So now's perfect time to move on.
Yeah. I don't know. I think to me, it's just come down to the same issue that we have with veteran athletes as we do with veteran coaches. There's no layers to it. It's the top dog, and then we bottom out. There's no development of coaches. There's no mentor programs or anything. You know, the smart people are out there seeking them out. They're doing their own little apprenticeships with it. But that's the issue. It's like, I agree. It's time for a younger generation to step up, but there's nothing to climb with. Like,
that's it. There's so many jobs in the top, and it's taken up by the guys who want to go on the free trips and wear the Aussie polo shirt. It's like, fuck off, mate. Like, and thanks for the free plug. GCStraining.net offers mentoring programs. So thanks for that, Simon.
No dramas anytime, mate. If you want to swing me a discount code, that'd be handy. But
it's hashtag go suck a. I think this guy's got the. That's the
promo code, is it?
MSPF
easy. Yeah, that's the promo code. Yeah,
douche. Right, mate. Let's bring it back. So we've got some more watches, guys. I asked a question earlier. We're talking about the Olympics. Both of us, Simon and I, both think the Olympics will be cancelled. Yeah. If you guys can write in comments what you guys think was the very first Olympic event, not the French Modern Olympics, which is what we have now, but the original Olympics. Just write a little comment and I can tell you whether you're right or wrong, because I know what it is.
You just tell them whether they're right or wrong anyway. That's kind of your thing.
I tell them they're right. Yeah. It's like Hamish and Andy did. I cannot stand radio, by the way. Yeah. It's like people who laugh, so the listener laughs, even though nothing's funny. But Hamish and Andy did this quiz years ago, drive-by radio, where they were talking about the toilet paper, what's the correct side or not. Yeah. It's obviously it's supposed to hang over, not under. Yeah. That's the pattern. That's why the pattern's printed that way. And if you look at the perforations, designed that way. Yeah. And the guy rang up and said, it was the first answer. It was the first guy to ring up and say, it's because of this. And Hamish and Andy hung up on him and go, no, we don't like that answer. Just hung up. This whole other 3 hours of getting people's decision on it. I was like, fuck me dead.
Yeah.
It'll be the same with this Olympic answer. Yeah. If one comes through.
Yeah.
But mate, I think, just to bring it back, I think what you're doing is correct. Hawthorn Weightlifting Club is reaching out to all their lifters and just giving them the this is what's happening scenario. And I think that's Right. And I'm sure there's other clubs out there that are doing it as well. I also think AWF should be doing it. Why isn't the AWF reaching out to every single individual, not via the clubs or associations, but just directly to the individual and say, Shaggers, this is what's up. We're with you. We support you. Let us know what you're doing. How about you let us know what you're doing by getting on Instagrams and hashtagging AWF and we can re-Instagram or repost images of you guys training and in this difficult time, and we're here to support you. Why don't we have a top-down approach? I mean, CrossFit fucked up 3 weeks ago, and they've been doing nothing, reaching out to people on the daily. Yeah, like weightlifting hasn't fucked up. Why can't it do it?
That's completely fucked. Like changing the topic. Like ground zero after Glassman's tweet was fucking ridiculous. I haven't heard shit in the last 2 days. It's like nothing happened. It's like, oh, you got a new CEO. Oh, he's been there the whole time, hasn't he? It's like, and that is damage control 101, and it is just communication, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, it's a new owner too.
Yeah, so new owner. Sorry, yes.
Coming in, the guy's worth 1.4. Oh, sorry, I think now he's worth $3 billion himself. So he's smart. He's a smart cookie. But yeah, it doesn't take much just to reach out to people and say, how can we help? Just the same as you're reaching out to your members saying, what can Hawthorn do for you? The AWF should be doing it to the individual lifter as well.
Yeah.
Like, why not?
That's it. It's look, I don't actually have an answer on that either. It's I think the model has been top down, but as separate as possible, as much separation in the level. So it's like AWF is your top level stuff. Your state is your communication. Anything you want to go to the AWF goes through your state. So therefore, in this sort of instance, the state is responsible for reaching out to the athletes on behalf of the AWF. But that's probably not good enough in these sort of times. But
I don't think it's good enough.
Yeah.
Step over. Like maybe it's a control issue from the past. Maybe it's a hangover from previous years where the individual heads of the state wanted to feel important.
Yeah.
And feel like they had an army of lifters behind them. I know when we first got into weightlifting, it was a real bragworthy about, oh, this state's got so many. We've got the most lifters. We've got the second most lifters. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, what are your results? AWF has got to reach out to people for sure. Absolutely.
And I couldn't even tell you either whether they are or not. That they may be reaching out to people in the high performance program, or certain, or they may just be going directly through another source. But I haven't received anything as a coach, and I don't think any of my athletes. Just communications on things about national championships and qualifying, that sort of stuff. I don't think there's been any pats on the back, she'll be right sort of stuff, and just the casual check-in. But I think we've got a newsletter, and it's always nice to read at the end of it, thinking about you guys and all that sort of stuff. And
mate, honestly, that just says it all, doesn't it? Like, it's 2020 fucking newsletter.
It's an email. It's an email newsletter. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fucking ridiculous. Where's the fucking media? Where is the fucking media? It's bullshit. Companies have videographers. Companies employ videographers. People that don't even do sport employ videographers. Where's the fucking media? Here's a shitty PDF that I knocked up in fucking Microsoft fucking Word, or what was it? Microsoft 97 or something.
97. with some word art.
It's just old. Like, fucking get with the times. It's not fucking hard. Like, 17-year-old YouTubers are earning millions of fucking dollars making editing videos. Where's the AWF fucking videos?
We're raking it in. Or, well, we will be once we get past 4 subscribers. But I think I'm all 4 of them, but that's fine. That's the setup. Yeah. But I agree with you, but I look at it as we're going back to a format that worked years ago, because that, in a way, is being able to say, oh, we're progressing, we're on the right track, we're doing something, but that's probably good for about 6 months, and then maybe we should be doing something a little bit more advanced to get with the times. But I don't know. Man, I'm still a bit shaken by this whole lockdown situation. I'm feeling bad for athletes, obviously, but for coaches out there that have been working towards reopening, have been, back and active and have these new plans for athletes and everything, and now it's just shut down. It's terrible. And
it's atrocious, absolutely atrocious.
And it's bad. And the whole economy's struggling here in Victoria because of it. Family is in hospitality and all that sort of stuff, and a lot of friends and everything. And mate, they're going to feel the pinch immediately. They're already losing out, and it's just a strange time. So it's a little bit strange for me to be saying this is the way forward and everything, where I don't have any control, and I think that's been a very very, very hard thing to come to terms with.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, isn't it? It's like you've chosen an industry and a career for yourself. You work hard at it, and then you get somebody who doesn't consult with you, just tell you can't do your job anymore.
Yeah,
and they're not giving you tangible reasons. It's like you're in the health and fitness industry, sports space, and they're shutting you down. It's like, no, mate, you got to be shutting down fucking retirement homes. You got to be shutting down people that have contact with the vulnerable populations, not healthy, vibrant populations.
Yeah,
doesn't make sense. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're making you're contacting all of your members.
Yeah. So that's happening.
Do you have any piece of advice for these guys to maintain any sort of performance standards in terms of physicality?
Well, it's basically I'll be asking my athletes what, like, as it was at the start of lockdown, what have you got available to you? And then I'll do my best to write a program accordingly. But just what you were saying before about a potential new model is if you can stay strong. So if you can squat, if you can do any sort of movement that's building your physique and just maintaining any sort of semblance of strength, you're going to be okay. You're going to be laughing. It's just don't go into your shell. Don't be all right. Well, it's 6 weeks. I can do nothing, or maybe I'll go for a walk or something. Try and do something. That's the key. And it was as I was actually on Instagram doing my casual stalk of people and saw that.
Liked a photo 10 years ago. Shit.
Yeah, no, that's fun. That's fun. Yeah, I don't do that anymore. It's all on OnlyFans anyway. But yeah, I was actually just following this bloke. I was actually having a look. Big Zachy G's back on Instagram for a few minutes and put up actually quite a good post about what people can be doing, and it was actually a bit of a shout out to gym owners and all that sort of stuff about being active. And I think that's the right attitude. It's as negative as I always sound about shit, you're probably got to try and keep morale up a bit, be active, keep moving, get around your club members, obviously at a socially distant and something that's acceptable, but just check in on people, try and keep some sort of club mentality alive and well. And it's again, tough times for people, but do what you can to survive and think about what you want to return to. So you don't want to come back to a club or a business where everyone isn't happy to see each other.
Yeah, big one, mate. That's such a solid point. Like, maintain that culture, maintain that community. Yeah, because it's not the four walls and the roof that you're there for. It's the people around you. 100%. Regardless of what the club is, whether it's a performance club or a social club, like, you're there for the people, not for the place. So, yeah, fuck. My piece of advice is to move, like, incorporate some sprints.
Yeah.
Because sprinting is type 2, weightlifting is type 2. You don't win trophies for how pretty you lifted. You win trophies for how heavy you lifted. So fucking stay strong. Like,
stay strong.
Always fast.
Yeah. Hey, mate, I got a thought just before we start wrapping it up. Something we can probably get into a little bit on the next episode after we obviously settle a few issues that need to be settled regarding a certain dance being the last one.
Big episode next week. I'm bringing the big guns.
We're bringing the big guns for next week. But all right, let's say COVID passes us by, the world, doesn't explode and doesn't die off, and the sport of weightlifting is booming. and there is an opportunity to be a full-time athlete. How much money? How much money? I'm saying 100 grand. All right. I'm going to say, first off, as a purely like a hypothetical case study that we can do, I'm going to say $45,000 to be a full-time athlete. And that's the only bit of information I give. So if there are people listening out there, if I came up to you tomorrow and said, hey, quit your job, be a weightlifter, and I will give you $45,000 a year, what would your initial reaction be? Now, there are a bunch of other things that go along with it, but that's your first bit of information. So it's something I'd like to explore next week. And Daz has almost set the bar there at 100K.
I fucked it, yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that's your standard response to anything, isn't it? It's like you coming over for a drink, 100K.
It's 100K, yeah. 100K. I don't get out of bed.
So that's it.
There's multitudes of reasons for my reasoning, but because I guess, and can I just ask you a quick question on it before we dive into it?
Yeah, 100%.
That 45K, do you for you to consider an athlete, to be a pro athlete, do you consider you're to make money while performing your sport, or do you think it's to barely pay bills to do your sport?
That is essentially one of the questions that break it down, but it's an interesting. I find it interesting. I've asked this question to a few of my athletes just to see if they gauge them, walk them through these steps. I think it's just funny, for a small sport, you throw any amount of money at people and they lose their mind for a little while, but they don't think things through. So $45,000 seems like a fair bit of money, but we'll break it down a little bit next week after we settle the score.
Yeah, fucking
well and truly.
I know CrossFitters who will fucking cut an arm off for a fucking $10,000 or free t-shirts. So 45 grand, that's like winning the lotto.
That's 10 years worth of protein. That's,
that's a lot of farts.
Yeah, that's a lot of farts. Yeah.
Yeah, great, mate. That's a real good one. Fuck, next week's episode is going to be long. It's going to be a cracker.
And if Sean's listening, mate, you're probably going to chime in. We'll probably be calling you at some point next week.
I don't know. Who's Sean?
Yeah, I don't know. Look, I give that guy a lot of shit. He is great. I really like that guy. And I'll introduce him to you sometime, Daz.
Yeah, fucking heard of him, fucking nobody. Just what we need, more than fucking nobodies.
I love you, Sean.
Let's make some fucking celebrities. What we need to do is to pick a weightlifter. Fuck, here's an experiment. Here is a fucking experiment. I'm going to call it the CrossFit experiment. We're going to get somebody who's not particularly good at weightlifting. We're going to polish them on social media and watch how many followers they get.
All right.
And then we'll compare them to somebody who is actually fucking good at weightlifting. Yeah. And I bet you the person we can get on social media success is going to smash the actual weightlifter, because it happens in CrossFit all the time. There's so many fucking turds that are making careers and have done fucking nothing. Absolutely. Some of them are household names and they've done nothing. And it's but it's social media.
To clarify, when you say the other athlete, you referring to a financial gain or just performance?
No, I think we could. I think a shittier lifter with social media presence will make way more money out of an actual real lifter. But also we'll get them a better social media engagement. We'll get them better like opportunities thrown at them for sure. Yeah.
And obviously, if there are any listeners out there that also want that opportunity, 100K.
Yeah. If there's anything left from the finder's fee, I'll pass it on. But let's do it. Fucking reach out to us if you guys want to be a part of the experiment. If you think you're a good lifter, and Simon and I haven't heard of you, I've got some news for you. You're not. You're in the shit lifting category. but we'll make you a success, and success is relative. And for us, it's going to be I think we can make you money just by having a social media presence that's not fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. And obviously Daz is going to take care of this, because me and my 12 posts on Instagram aren't going to do shit for you. So
I have great people that work for me to do that, because I'm also terrible on social media. I don't fucking use it anymore. I'm done with it. But
That's it.
yeah, that's a great experiment. Let's fucking do it. Hey, AWF, if you're out there listening, we can help you.
Yeah.
Because
100K.
Because you need it.
100K. No drama.
Emailed PDFs. Yeah. Fucking
Yeah.
Welcome.
Love it.
Welcome to the 21st century. Might as well just fucking send everyone a fucking postcard.
Yeah.
Hey guys, here. Wish you were here.
Yeah. I couldn't open my last PDF on my typewriter, so it's been hard.
What about? I saw a clip from Ricky Gervais. He said his older brother Bob was a bit of a larrikin, and he used to send his mum postcards saying, "Is that pedophile postman still reading your mum?"
Oh, that's brilliant.
On a postcard. That's hilarious. Because obviously you would have to, because there's no envelope. Anyway, blah blah blah. Yeah. Mate, thanks for the episode. Next week, big episode next week. Let's get in. I'm bringing the big guns for the last dance, and let's go through this professional athlete. Would you take the money?
Yeah, that's it. All right. Well, it sounds good. Until then, everyone stay safe, especially the people in Victoria. Don't break the rules, but try and keep active.
Yeah, and stay away from this security guard, because you'll fuck it for the rest of Australia.
You definitely will. Yeah. You definitely will. All right.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, watchers and listeners for later on.
All right. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because we never ever say that. Like and subscribe on YouTube, because we don't make any money and we won't make any money until you do, and we'll give it back to you. Promise. The Dumb and Dumber briefcase is full of IOUs. Yeah.
And watch us on YouTube. Facebook sucks. It really brings down the video quality. We look amazing. It's just YouTube. I mean, it's just the Facebook make us look like. Yeah.
I'm actually 90 kilos of steel and sex appeal, as Chael Sonnen would say.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, mate.
Take care, mate.
See ya.